This is a segment where we brought people on. They could disagree with us. We do this on Instagram every now and then. And she came on with her disagreement, so I was listening. Also, just keep in mind, regardless of what happens in this video, be sure to watch towards the end because there's a really cool turnaround. Just listen.
So I disagree with your guys' video the other day about the Vogue lady that got fired for like past racist comments.
Okay, so just a bit of context for this. She's referring to a video where we talked about a editor for Teen Vogue who got canceled for comments that she made 10 years ago.
And you guys basically said that people shouldn't be held accountable for what they see in the past. And I disagree with that because people should be held accountable, because how do you know that you have changed behavior if you just don't apologize? You know what I mean? So
an apology is an indication of changed behavior?
No, it's not.
So the thing is not about people being held accountable. The issue is like her definition of holding someone accountable is making them apologize in public. And I think that's what I took issue with.
It's too late to apologize. I had to. To me, it's the opposite. A changed behavior is the indication of an apology, not an apology. Okay, you apologized. Good. What next? I almost don't care about the apology. I want you to change your behavior. I believe more in actions than just words, you know. But if you change your behavior, then at least you're not repeating the same actions.
So I don't think the issue is like holding people accountable for past behaviors. I think it's all context. I think there's a difference between you making an off-color joke 10 years ago that may be inappropriate today, and then you doing a criminal act 10 years ago. Right? Like there are levels to this stuff. So I think it is more nuanced than that. I would never say we shouldn't hold people accountable for things that they've done in the past.
True.
No, that's not.
That is criminal.
So the Teen Vogue editor in question, I think, made an off-color joke or used a slur in a tweet like 10 or 8 years ago. I think that's a bit different in my opinion. What do you think about that? That's what I want to know. And that's where I think context comes in.
Who are they apologizing to?
I feel like society.
Apologize to society?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Okay, so yeah, I feel like they should apologize to society because...
But I'm not offended. I'm not offended, so I don't want them to apologize.
What do you mean you're not offended?
Well, let's say someone makes a comment and I'm not offended by it. Why should they apologize to me?
Okay, maybe not apologize to society as a whole, but to like the people group that they have offended, because I feel like a lot of times with these celebrities and influencers, they only apologize after the fact. Like after somebody exposes them, it's, oh, I'm so sorry.
Well, is it them being exposed, or is it the fact that maybe they were unaware and then they learned afterwards? Because when we're doing these things on a platform and in societal-wide thing, it's kind of interesting. You put up a comment, someone calls you out for it, then you apologize. Or you only apologize because you got caught. Or maybe you didn't know what you did was wrong, and so then you learned.
Or maybe you forgot. Maybe you did something 10 years ago, and you're not going through your history.
Don't know until someone points us out. You're never going to... I have a hard time remembering what I did 5 minutes ago. So now remembering, go back to what I did and what I said 10 years. And in the span of 10 years, people change.
2 years.
So much that sometimes in 10 years, people wouldn't even believe that they said such things until they, oh shit, I actually wrote that. It's a letter. It's my handwriting and me signing it. And I can't believe I wrote that. You know that we recently moved, right? And there was old stuff that I had with me and old letters that we reread. And I was like, wow, corny. Can't believe I wrote that. Just even when you write, you go in your Facebook history and you watch certain messages or statuses that you made 2-3 years ago. You're like, ugh, cringe. You cringe at your own stuff, but when you wrote it, you didn't cringe. You just wrote it, and then some of you even like your own statuses and stuff like that. You don't even know that. So yeah, you forgot. Definitely the forget part of it. Yeah, definitely you forget what you did.
But we're more interested in making people flagellate and apologize in front of people instead of just learning.
People definitely do have blind spots, but that's why you have a management team to make sure that if you said something bad in the past, you can either delete it so it's not there and people don't call you out, and I would respect these people a lot more if they came out and said, hey, I said a lot of shit when I was younger that I didn't mean and I didn't understand. This is my truth. I'm owning my truth, rather than only apologizing once they get caught.
Why do they need to do that on a public platform? Do you have anything you need to apologize for?
We all have things we need to apologize for.
Okay, so what did you do in the past that you need to apologize for? This is your chance for you to come forward and apologize for the bad things that you've done that you haven't apologized to everyone for. We haven't found it yet, but I know it's there, so I'd like for you to apologize right now.
Well, obviously, I'm not thinking about something that...
Well, why haven't you looked for it? Why haven't you gone through your social media feed? Why haven't you gone through your memory and thought about these things? Because if I find out from them and you haven't apologized for it yet, then you're not really sorry. You're sorry you got caught.
No, you could just maybe not remember. But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I really like the dynamic that's going on here. The way you guys are talking about it. I like it. I love it. You got to commend her for that. Okay. Let's put aside the wonderful point that you made. Okay. And take this time to commend her about the way she's having this conversation. Okay. This conversation, she's open-minded. I'm not even talking about what we're talking about anymore. I'm talking about just having a conversation on things that you disagree and being able to have a conversation with her. Just the way we have to commend her on just the attitude and the way she's coming through and exposing her points. What she's doing right now is the way you disagree with someone. And there's a lot of other people that have been doing that like that. But the way she's doing, and she's taking the time to speak. She's taking the time to think. She's taking the time to reflect. You got to commend that. Now, wonderful point that you made. Other than that, I'm really loving the dynamic.
Listen, if you feel like an apology is insincere, fine. But also understand, it's like a catch-22. It's like, you should apologize. But if you apologize after I point out your error, then your apology is not sincere.
You
can't win then. And we all have things.
Yeah, we all have things. It's not even a question of winning. It's a question of you can never be genuine, because no matter what you say, you're not going to be genuine. Oh, yeah, you should apologize. You didn't apologize, so you're not genuine. All right, I apologize. Well, you're just sorry you got caught. You can never. There's some people that apologize and they actually mean it.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because I'm not saying that apologies don't have their place. I just find it really creepy, this need to apologize to the public. You know what I mean? Like, who is it? Just some faceless mob on Twitter? And it's also one of those things where it's like, maybe I just need to have some time to learn and not be on this public platform talking about this topic, rather than, oh, we demand an apology. What good is an apology? It seems we're more obsessed with making people pay than we are with helping people learn. You understand? Yeah. I think people demand apologies because they're a good distraction from the very difficult conversations that need to be had. Mm-hmm. It's a lot easier to get someone to say they're sorry, and then you feel like you got a culprit and somebody. It's like sometimes people just want to arrest a criminal and then put him behind bars. They don't want to deal with any of the systemic issues that lead to specific sets of crimes being prevalent in an area, right? Because that's a much more hard issue to deal with. You could deal with an arrest.
He was sorry and he said he was sorry and he paid the crime.
Right? It's like PewDiePie. He apologized for what happened in New Zealand, but it's like, he didn't do anything to contribute to that. But people were lobbying so much blame at him, and people were coming from him because it was such a tragic thing that happened. We didn't want to deal with what was happening at hand, so we focused our attention at the wrong things. Because it's a lot harder to talk about mental health. It's a lot harder to talk about a lot of the other issues, the moving parts that may lead to that. So it's easier to put a face on it, a big name on it, and make them say sorry. It's a lot easier. I would just say, again, instead of focusing so much on the apology, let's talk about the learning. You know what I mean? Let's talk about what are the root causes of some of these issues. How do we fix them? Where do we go? And I think on a personal level, if you've got some apologies you need to make, then go make them. But I'm just not a fan of public apologies. I don't think it's the way forward. And I think they're a distraction. That's my thoughts on that. And that's why I kind of lose the plot a little bit, because apologies don't do much. I think if you want to make amends, there's some learning that you may have to do. Take that time, but it doesn't always have to happen on a public platform either. People think if you haven't donated $100,000 to BLM or to this organization, then it doesn't matter. I don't like the dynamic. If you go by this dynamic that if you said something in the past, you have to apologize, well, everyone can go through that process. You have said something inappropriate. Maybe it wasn't even online. Maybe you said it to somebody in person. You should still apologize online. Because guess what? If we looked at a celebrity and they made an off-color remark to somebody in person, they would have to apologize online.
Definitely.
So we should hold everyone to that same standard. Do we really want to do that? Make everyone start apologizing online for things that they've done in the past? Are we really going to do that? So,
especially when we know that we all did something that was,
yeah. It's fine to have these conversations. It's fine to, if you want to point out some behavior, go ahead, do your thing. But I don't like this idea of like, let's make them pay. I'm not with that. So that was more so my point. And I'm like, well, you said you've done something wrong. Well, apologize now.
If you are a celebrity, you have the resources. You have the resources to be able to rectify certain.
Yes, you have the resources to go and scrub your past so nobody can find it. Yeah.
No,
so basically, guys, go hide the bad shit that you may have said 10 years ago.
It's not about hiding it. It's about being honest. That's what I think.
Listen, you know what? We all have the resources. You can call your friends. You can call your high school friends. You can go through your social media feed right now, okay? Because you got enough time to come to talk to me on this live, so you can comb through your posts. In fact, you can go through all your emails. You can call everyone you've ever lived with and ask them, have I ever said anything that offended you? And you can come back on this live and apologize to everyone, because I feel like you've done a terrible thing and you're not ready to apologize for it. And it's time for you to come forward, because if I find out before you do, then I know your apology's fake.
No. I didn't say their apology was fake. I said their apology holds more weight if they're honest about it. I just said that it holds more weight.
Maybe somebody evolved, and what you're witnessing is their evolution. And try to go back in time for old posts, because you're consuming the post in real time. So you're not actually consuming it as if it happened 15 years ago. You want to know why I know? Because if I slapped you 15 years ago on your thigh, you're not going to feel the pain in 2021. All right? You're not going to feel it. But when it comes to words, because we're reading it in real time, we're getting re-offended by things that have happened way before. It is not good for our brains, and it's not good for social discourse. We have to accept the fact that people can go from point A to point B, and that there can be a bit of a change. That's all I wanted to say on this topic, but I appreciate you coming on. It was a good disagreement.
Let me just end this real quick. I definitely came up and I was just like, ooh, I'm gonna get him. But you guys have actually changed my thinking. So I appreciate this conversation. It was definitely eye-opening. And thank you for your time.
And here's the thing, right? I'll just say this as a last note to you. Understand, no ill will. I might be a little bit aggressive sometimes when I'm chatting, but like, you want to grab a beer later, we can definitely grab a beer. You know what I mean?
But people are being so mean in the comments.
Yeah. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them, because I'm talking to you, right? And this is between me. This is what I mean when I say followers and all this stuff doesn't matter. I'm talking to you as someone who, you came on here and you showed your face, and I'm being very respectful. There's no hard will. I disagree with the idea because I think it's a bad idea, but it's okay for us to disagree. And I hold no ill will towards you, nor would I say any terrible things, okay?
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. But like I said, the internet's a cruel place, so don't let it get to you.
It is. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for coming on. She didn't apologize before she left for what she's done in the past, but it's all good. That's good.
I was a little bit petty there. I was a little bit petty.
You had to be, I was waiting for the petty part. Yeah, of course you had to be petty. Piece of shit. Yeah, internet can be
unforgiving.
It's crazy because sometimes when I'm looking at the lives that I'm like, yo, what is wrong with you people? But it's always the ones that are the loudest that we hear, and the ones that we take attention to. You can't be like, yeah, if their followers is like that, they're all like that. That's just dumb.
No,
that's a dumb way of thinking, but we went over that.
If you want to see the full live when we do these disagreement sessions, I normally post them on our Patreon, as well as a lot of other bonus content. You can check it out there. It was an interesting discussion. She brought up some good points, and it was a tough one because it's not a yes or no answer. No. When should you apologize? Like, I've spoken with creators offline quite a few times. Some of them we'd had that conversation. Some of them I apologized to them because it was like, you know what? And if I said something in public about someone, I'll apologize in that scenario as well. For example, Doja Cat.
Doja. Your apology needs to be as loud as your disrespect.
Agreed.
We did a video about Doja. We said some things, and we were wrong. And she came out at us.
Yep.
The reason why we apologize publicly is because those claims we made public. And she came at us publicly and said that we were wrong. Therefore, our apology has to be as big as our disrespect.
One other thing is also it was recent. It's a little bit different, right? If I had made a joke 10 years ago and some people found it inappropriate today, Sorry, I'm not apologizing for that on a public platform. That's ridiculous to me. Okay. We also have to admit that, like, just because times have evolved doesn't mean that the past footage has evolved as well. It's still stuck in that time period. So when you can, that's why people go back and watch Eddie Murphy stuff and they're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. At the time, everyone spoke like that. Does that mean they all have to come out today and apologize? If they want to choose to do so of their own volition, that's fine. But we also have to accept that the world is very coercive nowadays when it comes to apologies. We don't ask for them, we demand them, and then we threaten people, and then we come at them with all this vitriol. So there has to be a better way that we go about these things. And also ask yourself, why do we care so much about apologies?
And the worst part is, even when those people apologize for the things that they did in the past, when the apology is delivered, nothing happened. They're not redeemed. People are not satisfied with the apology. Mm-hmm. They want something more. They want blood. Kevin Hart this and that and that and that. And now he's gonna hold the Oscars. And then Kevin Hart was not apologizing. And he even said, if you want to cancel me being at the, do it. And then he apologized. And people even came at his neck. He even had to apologize twice for something he already apologized for.
Yeah.
Now, even with the apologies delivered, people were not happy. So,
I mean, they weren't just not happy. They went looking for other things to discredit the apology because they're like, well, you didn't apologize for this and you didn't apologize for that. Yeah, and that's just absolutely. Like, if you watch that joke in that era at that time, most people don't even see anything wrong with it. You know, some things just don't evolve very well. And as the times change, you recognize those views change. But it's just like, it's crazy to me. It's like, yeah, when you were 17, you used the N-word. You're now a 30-year-old and you need to apologize. What? Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't know how this kind of stuff is good. It seems we're more concerned with making people pay than we are with making people learn.
You know what I mean? I just don't like the idea that people are like on this platform, they're making country music, and someone pulls up a tweet from 10 years ago, and everyone's like, prove to us that you changed. What good is that? What good is that? You know, especially coming from a minority background, I think it's very dangerous to go down this road because a lot of our young brothers and sisters have done terrible things when they were younger, especially from poor neighborhoods. Do we really want to start going through everyone's closet and make them self-flagellate on television and online?
It's different for everybody else who don't have a platform. That's what I'm saying.
But we're people. What
do you think about that point? Do you feel like for people who are on a platform, they need to apologize publicly, but regular folks don't?
No.
And like, why is that different? Well, you got all this.
People see what we're doing and having a platform as a privilege. Like, yeah, it was given to you. It is given to you. It's not everybody that has that privilege. Yeah, but it's not everybody that chose to do that. It's not everybody that's the thing. They see what we're doing in the platform that we have. See, right now they're looking at it like with million whatever followers or people that have more brand power. They see that and they're like, well, you have a privilege. You have all these people watching you, all these people looking at you. That's a privilege that you have. You have that influence. You have a power that nobody has. Yeah, but it was not just given to me also. I worked for that thing. And I have the privileges, but I also have the downside. There's a lot of sacrifices that I made to have that. So it's really a choice that I had as well as, it's a privilege, but it's a choice that I had. Now, that being said, we're people at the end of the day. At the end of the day, we're people. And who is to judge what makes a difference? So because for you, I make a difference because I got 1 million followers, but a regular Joe that doesn't have a lot of followers can make something bad is an own family, but have an influence in his own family. Should he apologize to his whole family? Not necessarily. Like, who's going to be the one that's going to be judging who's going to be, where do we start? Where do we start and when do we stop? Who needs to apologize for what according to what they have? To me, it doesn't really make sense that we have to do that because we're celebrities or whatever you want to call it. To who decides? Who gets to decide that? Who gets to decide all that we do? Which is, at the end of the day, I'm a regular Joe that does regular things that happen to have that.
I think if it has nothing to do with your job, you don't have to do the apology in public. To me personally, if I take an oath, to do something and I serve the people and I violate that oath, that's one thing. If I crack jokes, but it turns out that 7 years ago I stole some artwork or whatever. Okay. Actually, let's say 7 years ago I was involved in a hit and run. Okay. Hypothetical. All right. And I went to jail, did my time, came out. I don't have to apologize to you guys for that. That's between me and the offending parties. I did my time. That's none of your business. If I said some off-color remark to somebody 9 years ago, that has nothing to do with, my job as a comedian. That's between me and that person. Now, if I'm a defender of free speech and then I advocate for canceling someone in private, now we have a discussion in public, because what I'm saying in private completely contradicts what I'm portraying in public, right? If I say, ladies, you deserve the best, and da-da-da-da, then I start cheating on my wife left, right, and center, even though I've been making fun of guys who cheat. Now we have a conversation about what you've been doing in private, because it directly conflates with what you got going on in public. But otherwise, making people, I don't think it's a good thing, I don't think it's a good thing, and I think it sends the wrong message. It says the idea that, like, based off your follower count, the rules of morality are different.
Yeah.
Right? If you got 100,000 followers, you're a bad person if you don't apologize in public. But for the guy who does the exact same thing or something worse with only 100 followers, he doesn't have to make a public apology. What does that really say about our value system? You know what I'm saying? So that's just my thoughts on that last point.
It really comes down to people putting people on pedestal. It's not even about the apology. It's not even about, that person is known and has a platform, he should apologize. It's because you put him on a pedestal. I want to feel like that person is a good person, because if you're doing that, you have to be forgetting that we're humans. To be on that pedestal, you have to be a great human being, and you have to apologize to everybody because you're on that pedestal looking down on us peasants. No. Don't put people on pedestals like that. That's pretty much it.
Well, that's it for today's video. Did you guys enjoy it? If you did, please leave a like, comment, all that good stuff. Otherwise, have a wonderful day.